Go Loud presents the Talking Bollox Podcast.
What you waiting for? Put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Tell your body you're dead. Walk it hard and long. When you finish that,
The hip knocker.
go down, go down, go down. Come up, come up, come up, come up, go down.
Boom! Episode 52 of the Talking Bollox Podcast, brought to you by Go Loud. It's me, Terry Flower.
It's me, COB.
And it's me, Willa White.
Absolutely grand. Willa, how are you, pal?
Living the dream, bro. Great,
Yeah.
all good.
Fresh.
Oh, boys.
As a bachelor, first thing of a Monday morning.
Right, so here we are. This is our 1 year, full 360, full rotation, full calendar year, episode 52. So we're here to celebrate. We're a few non-alcoholics. Gonna crack them open now.
Willa, what you think of this?
No, bro.
Not into it,
No
Willa.
good to me.
Thank you.
No good to me, bro.
No.
Not into it.
Enjoy
Boy.
this, Willa.
Don't like it. It's like giving me a bleeding bag of heroin with no opium in it. Pointless.
Yeah, Terence.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, bro.
Fair play.
Here's to the
It's
next
a
year.
virtual drink, yeah.
Here's to the next year.
Clink.
There you're
To the
at.
next 52 episodes.
Yeah.
One a year, no pressure.
No pressure,
Pressure's
bro.
only for tours and big bras, bro. That's all.
Willa, how's things?
Things are good, yeah. Everything is all right.
Yeah, what have you been getting up to since the last podcast? Talk to us there.
Loads of stuff. I was working the weekend, so I was back gigging. I was in the international bar. Haven't been in the international bar for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Had kind of a bit of a falling out with the previous fella that was running it. Made it up since then, you know. It's kind of sad to see him go because he was the backbone of the place. I've got to say that. So I was back in there. It was great because it's raw. If you've never been into the international bar on Wicklow Street, big plug out to the lads. There's no microphones. It's just a stage. So you're just on a stage of no mic. It's a small, intimate room. Everyone listens, and it's a bit of crack, and it's just great. There's no backstage. The lads just stand on the stairs, and we have a bit of laugh, and you do the gig. And then I was in the Laughter Lounge. Laughter Lounge was a bit different. Usually you do 3 nights, but things are that bad at the moment. I won't mention the word, but they only done the Saturday night. People pulled because either most people, in my opinion, are confused or afraid with what's going on. So I'm going to take the latter and say most people are afraid. So, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
So, because it's a 1 year anniversary, we thought we'd make it light-hearted. We'll get someone on to have a bit of laugh. And because we couldn't find one of them, we settled for Willa.
Hey!
But no, Willa, you're one of the most requested guests for a part 2. So, the people that have spoken and we listened, you know what I mean? So we said we'd get you back in.
First one was a cracker.
That's fucking disappointing, so isn't it? That's what Terence says to me. I says to Terence, the funniest bloke in Dublin. I says, if anyone was to ask me who's the funniest bloke in Dublin, I'd say, I've got all the phone numbers, so just give me a ring. Do you know what I mean? I get you someone to use for the podcast.
In fairness, you know bleeding everyone, Willa.
Everyone.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. Most of them probably don't want to know me, though. Do you know what I mean?
Who's the most famous person you have in your phone book?
There's actually a few of them.
Right,
There'd be
go.
a few, yeah.
Give us your top 3.
Kevin Bridges.
What a legend. What a bleeding legend.
What a man.
John Bishop.
Here, give one of them a bell for us.
Well, come here, right? You know, I'm going to ask John, because John's over next year, and I'm going to ask him will he pop in
Yeah.
and do it for you.
Yeah.
Kevin
So,
Bridges, I'd love Kevin Bridges.
Yeah.
Kevin's over next year as well. He's late next year, November.
Yeah.
And he's a great fella, and he's very obliging as well, so
Yeah.
I'd say it to him. Last time I went to see Kevin Bridges, Woody Harrelson was backstage.
No, in
And
the
yeah,
Tree Arena?
Yeah, and David Blaine. Isn't that mad?
Later.
That's madness.
Yeah, I swear to God, I went backstage. Now you're trying to act real cool, like, don't fuck, there's a Woody Harrelson and David Blaine. Just act cool, you know? All right, Woody. And David Blaine, I went into the Jacks to go to Jackson. When I come out, he just disappeared. Yeah.
Well,
So that's how this episode is going.
I know, and do you know what? All the stories you're going to tell on this episode, I'm afraid to say fuck off because you caught me with it the last time, and people still text me to this day.
Yeah.
No, you fuck off. That's and
Probably the best one-liner.
best comeback I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we go any further with that, yeah, we've zingers to get through, yeah, from last week and that, yeah. Do you call it a fist pump or a knuckle touch when you do that?
A fist bump.
Yeah, that's a strange one, no?
A knuckle touch.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fucking sexual act or something, lads. For
I thought
fuck's sake.
fist pump
Wanna
did,
see a
though.
woman doing the knuckle touching. Knuckle touch, is that what you was calling
Yeah,
it?
knuckle touch.
Lads, where's that? I've never heard that in my life.
No?
A knuckle touch.
Yeah, you're touching knuckles.
Think
No.
about it.
It's a bleeding, you're bumping fists, man.
Oh, I don't know. Well, that sounds more sexual to me
That's
than
like
that.
going, is it the bumpers or the dodgems?
I never heard anyone call them dodgems.
They do call them, some people call them, because that's what you're meant to do on them.
You're not
Well,
meant
a
to
mate
bump
of
into
mine-
people.
Well, I have a mate of mine, he's a great comedian called Colin MacDonald, and he does a great piece about bumper cars and dodgems. It's just over here, as he says, people just want to give you fucking permanent whiplash when you get into the bumpers. It's kill him, isn't it? He's always pick one fella out, and
Just
it's
mill
like
him.
a load of bleeding lions hunting a bleeding wounded wildebeest, isn't it? They all just come in and smash him.
Yeah.
In England, they're called dodgems, because you're meant to dodge them, dodge them. Over here, it's like, no, whiplash, put him into hospital. And that belt. You know, if you hated someone you were with, you go, no, put it around your neck. Yeah, so that's it. No, it's a fist bump.
Right. Fist pump, 58%, and knuckle touch, 42%, yeah?
Booyakasha.
Right, so you won that one, yeah? With sauce, do you dip sauce or do you pour it all over?
It depends on how I'm feeling, to be honest with you. Some days I pour it all over and some days I pour it on the side. Sometimes it depends on the sauce. Red sauce, I'll pour it all over. Some people don't like that I have red sauce with fish and chips and I put the red sauce on the fish as well. Say it ruins it. I don't. My missus's young lad uses red sauce on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
If you give him a roast dinner, it's red sauce.
Yeah.
And red sauce.
My young one's like that as well.
He'd have to go into detox and say if there was no red sauce in the gaff. I'm not joking with you, man. Just red sauce.
So do you dip or do you pour?
Bit of both. If it's curry sauce, I'll out of the bottle, I put it on the side and I dip and pour.
What
Bilingual.
about?
He's on the fence.
He's on the fence there.
Yeah.
88% of people dip and 12% pour all over.
Yeah, a lot of people said that they pour curry sauce, but they dip every other.
Yeah,
they dip every other
What
sauce.
do you do, Terence?
I'd be a dip man, yeah? Or if I had a curry, I'd pour it.
And what's your favourite sauce?
Don't really. Garlic mayo.
Are you taco
Garlic,
sauce?
No, taco sauce, not. I like that, but it's
Yeah.
not.
There's a taco sauce posse in Dublin one, isn't there, boys?
Oh,
Tell it you, like,
on everything.
there's some of that, and you have to say it like that, don't you? Stick a bit of taco sauce on that as well, will you?
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Oh, ketchup. Brown sauce, if it's a stew.
Right.
Has to be brown sauce.
I'm
Definitely.
garlic sauce, no? Do you know what's lovely as well? Chipotle sauce. Do you ever taste that? Yeah, I'm push
Hang
with
on
that.
a minute. Where is that coming from? The diamond or something?
Yeah, mate,
What's
Chipotle
it called?
sauce. No,
Chipotle?
Chipotle, yeah. CHIP. Chipotle, how do you even spell that? Someone-
C-H-O-T-L-E.
OTLE.
You sure it's
Yeah.
not chipolate or something? No, that's
Yeah.
a sausage.
No, Chipotle sauce, yeah, look her up. I'm telling you, will change your life, mate. Change your life.
So what does it taste like?
It's a bit like taco sauce, yeah. It's taco sauce that went to Trinity.
Yeah, the posh taco
It
sauce.
has a degree, has it?
Yeah. My voice is killing me. I can't keep going with this.
We'll get into that now in a second, yeah? But I'll get into them. They're 88 and 12%, yeah? Zingers for this week, Willa. Have you got one?
No, I don't. I don't have a zinger. I'm all out of zingers, boys. I listen to the podcast, and I'd be sitting there going, "What are they going to come up with this week?" Some of them are lame, like.
Yeah, we
Some of them
know
are
with
just.
that.
I think it's just come up with something now. Would you prefer, or would you rather this, or would you rather that? Because you are our zingers, lads. 2022 needs to be something like. Would you do this or would you do? Because zingers are gone, lads.
Started there, will give us one then.
You've rinsed it.
Ah, gone. There's nothing else in the world. I have another
Yeah,
bad one
just
here.
like kind of the stupid things that you've done as a Nike or Adidas or as a, would you rather a bleeding an Audi or a bleeding Scott or something like that? Or, what was the one that you said there a while ago? Would you rather be an animal? Was that the one you said?
No, would you rather talk to animals or know every language on the planet?
lads, we're from working class areas. We're talking to animals all our blatant lives, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, and what was the other one? An animal or else what? Talk to animals or what?
No, every language on the planet.
Or every language, man. No. Every language.
That's
Has
what I
to
said,
be.
yeah. So you can talk to anyone you meet.
Imagine being able to go into any country and just speak the lingo.
Have you got a zinger?
Yeah.
Right. Hit me with it. Is that a good one?
I don't know, it's a bit deep.
Oh, right. Well, then I'll get my shite one out
go
of the
on.
way. When you're buttering bread, do you put that with a knife or a spoon?
Who butters bread with a spoon?
They do in the Central Monastery.
They butter with a spoon.
Yeah.
No, they do, yeah. A lot of good delis do it like that.
Why?
Come here, I'll tell you, when we're on the subject of delis, lads, right? I know bleeding Donald's and Declan's on Dorset Street is hardcore, right?
Best breakfast rolls in the land.
No, he does do a good breakfast roll, right?
Yeah.
But
I've got a great story about there, actually. Do you want me to tell it quick?
go on with that, come on.
No,
So
you
here,
don't
this
need
is
to be
it.
quick.
This is a true story, right? It's
Right.
true as good God. So one morning about 15 years ago, right? I'd say about 15, 16 years ago, we're walking over in Ranelagh at the time, and there's me, Shorty, you know Shorty Brain?
Yeah.
Me, Shorty Brain, right? And another fella called Tony Lamb out of Queen Street, right? And Tony Lamb is bleeding mental, right? At the best of times. So we went into Declan's and we got a coffee and whatever. The boys got something to eat. So Tony's in the back of the car, Shorty's in the Paso, and I'm driving the car. I was only at the learning how to drive. I was driving a 1994 Corolla Estate. This thing, I'd say, is still going around. Probably tapping for oil somewhere in Bleeding Town, right? So we're driving along. So we're going up the church. We're going up, do you know where the Brazen Head pub is? Not that hill as you go up where the merchant pub is, you cross over the bridge after the Bridewell. We're going up there. It's a lovely summer's morning. And as we slowed on the bend, there's a fella on a bike, and Shorty roars out the window, lowers the window down. There's no electric windows on this joke, so he was actually doing that. And he roars out to your man, "Get up out of that!" just as he's going by him. And your man kind of goes in a speed wobble. And we're all laughing, me, Shorty, and Tony in the car. So fast forward up to the lights at Bleeding Christchurch. We're all sitting there having a laugh next to all. Turns around, right, a man's knocking on the window where Shorty is. He's going, "You think you're fucking funny? I kill you. I kill the three of you," as he says. He says, "No, you what?" He says, "Pull over around the corner. No, around by Boardocks." He's going, "Pull her out," goes, "Yes," and next of all, he's spitting Shorty's face, right, which is the insult to the century. If you ask me, I'll take a boot in the teeth any day, rather than. But he doesn't realise that Shorty has a hot cup of coffee in between his legs, does he? Clicks the lid off and throws it straight into your man's face, right? You might as well throw a glass of Ballygowan water at this fella. The man just goes like that. I'm not joking with you here. Just goes like this, look at, wipes it and goes, "Come round, I kill." I went, right. So here, he goes off ahead of us on the bike. It was only when he went ahead of us on the bike I realised how big this fella was. It was like one of them circus bikes he was on, right? He was huge, right? I made the decision there and then. I says, "Lads, I'm not stopping this car." I says, "I'm telling you now." Tony Lamb is in the back going, "I'm going to kill him." I says, "Well, I tell you what, Tony, I'm going to slow the car down to about 30 mile an hour. You jump out and start killing him." I says, "I'm going to walk," right? We turns around at the bleeding at Boardocks, right? Your man's up in the path like this, right? Doing all these stretches and all, throwing kicks, right? So I indicated to pretend I was pulling over beside him, right? Here's your man smiling, going, "Yes, I'm going to kill these," like that, right? I pulled back out, then went into the traffic. Your man's on the bike after us, right? So we went in around the back of Dublin Castle. Next of all, I looks in the window, there's your man on the cobblestones, right? This coming after us, right? He says, "Lads, he's in hot pursuit. We're going to get bleeding killed." I knew when I come round by Dublin Castle, if I took the left to go down kind of up by Wexford Street, them lights are always red. So I took the other right and headed up for Patrick Street. The lights were red, but I done them. I says, "I'm doing this." I says, "Thank God he's gone." Kevin Street looks in the mirror again. He's on us, right? I says, "Lads, he's on us again, boys." Now, at this stage, I'm like this. This fella's looking for blood. We eventually lost him right up with the Bleeding Horse pub up the top of Camden Street. Oh, the fright I got. I swear to God, I got the car resprayed that day, the whole lot of it. Never came that way again. Oh, stop, man.
That's the last time you went to Deco's.
Yeah, I've been to Deco since. But Deco's is a really good deli. But I'm going to tell you another brilliant one. Don't worry, I'll let you talk in a minute. Here, The hog and heifer on pastry. Have you eaten out of there?
No.
That's the pastrami melt, or the New Yorker, or the Reuben special. Check it out.
Oh, I can't play. Was you? I thought you were gonna get the story there.
No, that's it. Just a deli. Boy, we're gonna wrap her up now.
Oh, I'm sweating off, laughing, I'm crying. Where do you go from there? Oh.
Right, anyways, yeah.
That goes, that does
We were
lovely
talking
play.
about the spoon.
I put that bread for a knife.
I put that bread with a spoon.
I
yeah.
butter it with a knife.
You
Or I
don't know.
put that bread Right, I put that with a knife, right?
Right,
Right, we're on knife.
yeah.
What butter do you use?
Oh, don't start
Any
that.
butter, just, yeah, any
Would
butter.
you eat margarine? Would you eat that?
What's margarine, bro?
Who's margarine?
You
Yeah.
never had margarine?
No, bro.
Poxy.
Is that the butter you put in the press?
No, that's that
butter,
blade
that's
and the
real
joy
butter.
butter.
Tell me about
Oh no, that's that butter. Yeah, that's the real butter.
the
What the,
good
what the
stuff,
farmers use. Yeah, but like one of my singers. So remember, what? You alright?
Bro, I'm not the better at that. That
No.
is hilarious.
So do you remember Connor used to do the sound for the podcast for us? Remember Willa when you done your first
There's
episode?
a new book coming out for Christmas called Where's Connor, is there?
He's my neighbour now. We're not too far away from each other now, but his missus, yeah, I was with him a couple of weeks ago and she goes, I have a singer for you. It was a very deep one now. I thought it was going to be this or that and have a bit of laugh. She goes, would you rather a world without music or a world without dogs? I was like, this is very fucking deep, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, like it's not
No,
very
it's not-
similar.
No, it's not. I'll tell you something, right? I love dogs and I love music, but I love music better than I love dogs.
This is what I said, Willa.
Right, now come here. Dogs are great. They're very, very useful. They're great things. Cats, I wouldn't care if I didn't see another cat again. Cats are the most useless creature that will ever come on the earth. Here's the fact. You'll never see a sniffer cat in Dublin Airport. Right? You'll never see a guide cat. Imagine guide cats. Be blind blokes going across your back wall that would like that. Across your shed. I do love dogs, but look at, come here, I'd rather music than dogs. If you stopped music, look at all the musicians that be out of work.
Why you pick it
Oh, please. I go with, yeah, I'll take dogs away as well.
Yeah, take dogs away.
Now, man's best friend, dogs, you have got a good use in the world. Dogs are late.
Dogs are great. Come here, and they're,
Yeah.
and they're so useful for everything. For for people with autism,
Yeah.
there's loads of uses for them. But Jesus Christ, no music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you imagine that?
yeah.
You wouldn't have been out last night if there was no music.
No, and that's, I wish we didn't go out last night. I'm in the chocolate.
You've been
Yeah.
just walking around the place with a dog on a lead going.
So we were out last night, Terence. For what?
Oh, the 1 year anniversary, the episode today, rookie mistake putting it last night. Sober hangovers are real.
Yeah.
I'm in a heap.
I'm in a jogger.
But worth it.
I didn't get an invitation. Any other guests there, lads?
No.
No.
No, there wasn't. Yes, we're all invited. We put it up.
No, he was never invited. I was asking Calvin about it yesterday. He was telling me
Willa.
DJs and all. There was nothing he had dropping down. And here, do you know the gas thing about to see last night? My missus was away for the night. It's not that I'm saying she has to be away for me
Oh,
to
it's
get out.
going, yeah, you're not
She
allowed out with
no,
the
she
girl.
sound like that. Come here. It's great. She does her thing and I do my thing. So
Yeah.
I'm killed.
So
to
what
go out.
stopped you coming down last night?
I went home and watched a bleeding really interesting documentary and I was up early in this morning for work.
So
I
you
just
wouldn't have
kinda
came
hopped in.
anyways, Willa? What are you crying for?
It's still nice to get the invitation, bro.
I was up all over on Instagram. We know you're barred from Twitter. It was on that as well, though.
Barred you. Barred out Twitter, bro.
What you get barred off Twitter for?
How long are you barred off
I'm
Twitter?
barred months. I can't get back onto it. Genuinely, I've tried. I've sent emails. They're kind of blanking me. Do you know when you do something really wrong on someone and no matter what you do, they're kind of going... Do you know what I mean? They're just walking by going, looking at you like that. That's what Twitter's doing to me at the minute. I'm like, listen here. And they're kind of going, don't even look at him. Don't even look at him. Just pretend he's not there. You can't hear him, nothing.
What you do?
Can't get back. Ricky Gervais left a comment about his 50th birthday party. If you want to pull the tweet up, you can see it. Something to do with his 50 about...
Pull her up there.
Something to do with the see you next Tuesday word. Right? So that was it when he was 50. And I left me messages probably still underneath. I read it out. And come here and ask the listeners, do I genuinely...
This is going to be yours, Zinger. Should Willa have been barred for this comment off Twitter?
Exactly.
Right, Willa?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
having a bit of that, bro?
Yeah, exactly. And come here, lads. It's not. And I did apologise.
To Twitter
I
or
was,
to
no.
Ricky?
Well, I think Ricky's a comedian. Like Ricky, it's nothing personal. It's a laugh.
Do you know
like.
Ricky?
No, I don't know Ricky Gervais. I've met his tour manager, Stuart, who's a really, really nice fella, and speaks very highly of him. And comedians of the Premier League speak really well of him. I'd love actually to be in the thing that you're doing for Netflix. What was it called?
Afterlife.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. It was very well
What
written.
was that about? A load of comedians?
No.
No, it was about him losing his wife to
His missus
cancer, and he's
died, yeah.
kind of left behind. But it's real dark kind of comedy, but it's very, very, very good and very worth watching. Giving it a watch, yeah.
Well, I'm no good at finding tweets on Twitter.
You know.
Can't find it. I don't know how to search it properly.
So basically, it was something about him being 50 and he got a mug with cunt on it or something like that. I know he left a message going, maybe you could move to Cuntsville or something like that. Just a bit of banter.
Nothing that deep.
Nothing.
And do you reckon he reported it or Twitter flagged it or something?
I'd say Twitter flagged it, yeah.
Yeah.
And they barred me off. I've been barred off now for probably about 3 or 4 months.
But you know the best thing is people.
Do you know what? Even if you got the lads to Google when Ricky Gervais's birthday is, while we're having the conversation, they can go back in his tweets and see where he puts it, because there's a picture there with like a 50th badge and a mug and all,
Yeah.
and my tweet should be
I'll find
underneath
it.
it.
If it's his picture, I'll find it.
Do you know what I mean?
But you know what's funny, Willa? Yeah, people they'll be trying to tag you on Twitter and they'll be tagging some other random Willa White.
Yeah, I'm probably losing work because of Twitter, because people do send me messages on Twitter and ask me to do gigs for them and that, and I can't, because I'm not, just to let you know, I'm not on Twitter at the minute. Not by choice.
Just in
know what I
case he
mean?
never
So
said
bad,
that.
like.
Never
It's
said
mad,
that he's
innit?
part of
So my
Twitter.
point was, it was all over on Instagram though about a night out and you just didn't show up. So that's on you.
Am I following yous on the? I think I only follow yous individually on Instagram. I don't
We
follow
we still cheered on our own pages, Willa.
Right, I don't know. Look, boys, I wasn't there. I'll be there for the next one, yeah?
Yes, well, I love
Do you know what I mean?
But anyways, we were in 22s. We had a little night.
it was
Great
lit.
crowd.
Shout out to 22s for hosting it. Shout out to Tom O'Gaffney and
Where
the lads
is
for
that?
DJing.
South Antrim.
Next door to 23s, is it?
That's a Calvin joke.
Fuming I didn't get there before him.
Where is it in town?
22 South Antrim.
And why did you just put it on there if he's got a touch?
We're bad from everywhere in the north side.
Yeah.
So he's bringing it to the south
Over
side
to
now.
the south side.
And we brought a big crowd, and anyways, and they were all the gang of legends, so I can't find that to him giving up. And no, everybody was bang on. We had a great night.
Yeah, it was
I don't know. He sets us up for another party now. Hopefully, when things open back up in the new year, probably.
Yeah.
Why don't you set one up for Paddy's Day, boys?
I don't know.
Not a bad suggestion.
You should have one every quarter. Paddy's Day, then do a summer banger. And I'm not to be looking at your lovely balcony out, so you probably have a couple of nice guests on that balcony out there. Get a little backdrop made, just a bleeding, a plastic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it summertime with the yellow bleeding shades on the shorts, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice view of the city. Tell you, lads.
Fresh.
You're living the dream here. The only new.
Yeah.
Squatters' rights. They won't get you out of here, lads. I'm telling you now. You'll be bleeding chained to the desk.
But yeah, they're doing very well keeping us in here. Because fuck me, we're doing well trying to not get cancelled. I'm in a chocolate. My voice is killing me. My voice is gone. I have to go around the 22s after this and get her back.
Right, come here. Because the 1 year episode, yeah? And I got a camera. This one over here. Right, the 1 year anniversary episode. We have a few awards.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the categories?
So, the first one we're going to do is your personal favourite episode. And Willa, you've listened to the podcast.
Right, I'm going to tell you my personal favourite
Yeah.
episode. My personal episode would be Liam Cunningham.
That's your favourite one?
Yeah, really, really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was for where he is in life and what he does. He's a very humble fella.
Yeah.
He hasn't forgotten where he's come from. He's got plenty of Bob Dylans in the bleeding Anne Frank, and he's just a nice bloke. And and it shows what it means for him. He didn't have to do it. Like
Yeah.
anyone that does this, he
Yeah.
didn't. He could have just went, no, you're grand. Like, but he gave his time and he gave a little bit back to the area that he's from. Like,
And
you know.
he was very good to us in it as well. So we did that over Zoom and we were like, before we started, we were on the call and for about a minute or two, we were saying, look, we're very bleeding nervous, we're still only new to this and whatever. He was like, take your time. He said, yeah, I'm here with us until it's over, so relax, it'll be grand, the review's good with us, wasn't
And we didn't have a clue how to walk soon, so we were saying, we're going to have to ring you now and then hang up and ring you back. And he's like, yeah, no problem.
Take your time, boys. No, he's real one of our own. And that's just a normal fella.
No, and I'm not just saying that because he's not in Dublin or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Lots of other episodes were good, but for me personally, he was the episode for me that I really enjoyed, and definitely I suppose it was just one of them days. I was just in the gaff and I just sat down and I listened to him, and it was really nice stuff from where he was, from what he was doing, and it just kind of shows you, like what you say all the time, that anything is possible. Like there's a fella that was walking in the bleeding ESB and just said to himself, you know what? I'm not happy doing this. I don't want to do this. Like, you get so many people in life that just get comfortable in the same thing, and the fear of change or getting outside that, your dad kind of saying to you, oh, that's a job for life. Jesus, what you doing leaving that or whatever. Like, and sometimes you just gotta listen to your own intuition and just say, you know what, I'm getting out of this. I'll either sink or I'll swim. It's only a job. Like, don't let a job or circumstances control you in life. If you want to do something and you have drive and you have passion and you have a bit of belief, let go and just bleed and see what happens. Like, sure, if it doesn't work out, you can go. You get a full refund on your bleeding, on your misery where you were beforehand. I don't mean that. I say that kind of lightly, misery, but I mean you can always go back around. I mean, if you're an electrician, if you take a break for 3 years, you're still going to be an electrician in 3 years' time. Like. Do you know what I mean? If you work for the ESB and you're qualified, you have a qualification in something, I mean, it's still going to be there. So dream big, like, and reach for the bleeding stars, like.
Good advice.
I mean, there's you was bleeding sitting on a kitchen table there a year ago on a gaff going, podcast, like, do you know what I mean? Like, no, do you know what I'm saying? Like, and kind of going, this will be a bit of crack. And look where you are now. In a year, in 12 months, he's put in the hard work, he's put in the drive, and I mean, pays off, doesn't it? Realistically.
Shout out to Go Loud. Look, actually, tell the story about Go Loud.
You go loud.
Yeah. What did you say when we signed?
Go loud or go home.
So what, the day we got signed?
No, wait, how long do I looking for us? And then finally the phone call and the whole lot.
So the start of the summer, a few people had reached out to us about taking the podcast to the next level and doing different deals and stuff like that. And we entertained them because we didn't know where we were going with the podcast, what the next level was. And we met a few, I wouldn't say ropey people, but people that we couldn't take it, and deals that just didn't suit us and they didn't sit right with us. And we said, you know what, we'd rather still do what we're doing and be happy with that than...
We were in no rush.
Yeah, like rather than just taking someone's hand off because they're the only one that's offering her out, you know what I mean?
You want to still be unique and be able to do what you want to do.
Yeah, so I get a message on LinkedIn one day, and it's from Darden Cleary, and he sends me this big spiel or whatever, and I was like, right, but this is off the back of other people sending me bleeding a load of crap, so I'm like, oh, this is another fella, whatever. So I said it to Tarrant, some fellas had the message to me, blah, 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 and I left it. And a week later comes any update on this, and I was like, oh yeah, here's your man, I forgot all about him. So I'm leaving him on scene, leaving him on Red Will,
As you do.
And he goes, he was like, can I give you a call? And I goes, oh yeah, like I want to hear what he has to say, fuck it. And at the same time, so I'm working from home, right? And I was following this page on Twitter to get a PlayStation 5. Yeah, this fella, I don't know who he is, I don't know how he knows yet, but I think it's just like PlayStation 5 updates or something his name is on Twitter. He knows when every PlayStation in the country goes on sale. But it is.
Gentlemen, PlayStation 5's update.
But anyways, he knows every piece of stock in this country, he knows when it goes on sale. So gets a notification, he goes, GameStop is live. I was like, alright, lovely. So I'm there in the queue waiting to put my details in. The phone rings and he's like, oh, hi, how are you? Darden here, and this is what we want to do with your podcast. We think you're great. And I'm like, yeah, no bother trying to put my bank details in and all, do you know what I mean? So make sure I'm not putting in the details wrong. So I get to PlayStation 5 and then I was like, yeah, what you saying? And he was like, do you want to come over for the meeting next week? And I was like, yeah, grand, I'll go over. And then I was like, Terence, I'm at a great meeting with a fella there next week. So
I said, what's it about? Like, what was he said that I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't a clue.
Do you know
I
what
didn't
I'd
hear
have
one
said, lads?
thing.
I'd have said he is really interested in taking us. And if you'd have went, yeah, I'd have went, right, give me a credit card details of this PlayStation 5 and we'll come over next week.
no, but then we come over and we met him, and I don't know. I always slag him about it because I always say you undersold it over the phone and through the messages. But when we got here, it's like they rolled the red carpet out. It was just
He was like the man with the bag of magic beans, was he?
basically the second the lift doors closed. I looked at Terence and I was like, "We're signing that deal." Like we knew before the doors even closed. That was it. We're signing the deal.
Well, come here, when you know it's right when you know it's right, don't
I
you?
felt right, and that's what he was saying. We went to that place and something wasn't right. And when we left here, we were like, this don't want
No,
go.
this is great. Like, I mean, like nothing has changed. Only, obviously, he's got a deal. He's got really good surroundings. I met the lads on the way in. They're sound, except for your man that doesn't tip the barber. Right? No, I'm only joking. Come here, he's sound as well. But I'm saying you've got a great deal. You don't have to cross your T's. You don't have to dot your I's. You are who you are. You have control over the guests.
Yeah.
You have control over the chessboard, basically. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
with the best
They've
team in
just
the
put a better
country.
chessboard in front of you.
Yeah, the boys are
Do you know what I mean?
legends.
Like, come here, that wasn't in the barbers when I was down there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you know what? It's like you say as well, Terence, don't knock the hustle, like,
Yeah.
because you graduate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You go from kitchen tables and you go to somewhere else and you're kind of saying, well, where is it all going to end up? And I mean, you can't end up in a bleeding better place than this.
No, I genuinely. and-
Let's. I mean, it's. You walk in, the lads are sound. You're made feel at home. Do you want a coffee? Chill out. Everything is grand, and it's like there's just no pressure. Like it's
No.
effortless.
That's why people ask us sometimes, do you prefer it before go loud or now? I know, what do you think? Like, look at the place.
yeah.
I think it's only when you come in you realise, look at this cameras, fucking this big screen, the boys are legends.
And the
You
best
come in,
part
like
is-
you said, they're just like us, like.
when you
I know
walk
you're not
out,
getting paid on to say that either. No, do you know what I mean? No, but it is.
Yeah.
And it's like most things in life, I think, for everybody. First impressions will always last. Like, you knew the minute you walked in here, the first time you met these guys, you were kind of going, and I'm sure your head was going, this is bleeding too good to be true in a
Yeah.
sense. And he was probably saying the same thing when you got in the lift, you're kind of going, we can't not take this. Do you know what I mean? Like, and opportunity sometimes doesn't knock twice.
No.
It comes once. Like, they probably said to you, look, we need to know by whenever, and you are going, we know already. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But sometimes you have to do a Fonzie and just play it real cool.
Yeah.
don't you?
Playing hard to
we
get,
let you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean?
it's like you can. I think we come up on a Wednesday. He's like, if you let me know by next Wednesday, like we knew bleeding 20
Yeah,
minutes
yeah,
after. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think we told them on the Tuesday then. Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, I forgot all about
Yeah.
you.
Oh, you was it? Yeah, yeah. No, but you know the best part, Will, is what I love doing is when we put this mic down now and we wrap it up, we don't have to worry about it. I know the boys are going to scrub it up, they're going to put it up, they're going to upload it, everything's going to be sweet. You know what I mean? Whereas before, we were like, make sure that sounds all right, and we're fucking like, oh, did you upload that and all? What will I say here? You know, shit like that.
Yeah, it's like the Premier League of podcasts. I mean, I was listening to James English earlier on, and he doesn't even have a setup like this.
No.
I mean, he has a great podcast.
Yeah.
He's got a great following. I like him. I like what he does, and he's very much kind of in the tone as yourselves that, yeah, they are the people that are doing the interviewing, but I mean, it's like you just, if someone's talking, you just sit back and go, let them talk.
Let them.
And he was like that. I was listening, I don't know whether he's heard this one, but it was about your man, Billy Kenny. Did you hear that one? Did you ever?
Football, I
man.
watched that. It's unbelievable.
I haven't watched it. I know the one.
I actually know the fella that owns the shop where he has the Transalpino hoodie on
do
over in
you?
Liverpool. Yeah,
The
jockey.
shit
Yeah.
at the end, Vegas.
Yeah. But I mean, like that that's a story of bleeding. It's a story of heartache, really, when you think about it. Like,
Yeah.
And addiction, you know?
Back to your favourite episode, Terence.
Oh, yeah. My personal favourite one, I'd probably have to say, it's up there. I have to give Owen Brennan a shout out as well, because John McGuckin, I'd have to say John McGuckin part 2. So Owen Brennan kept suggesting Joe for weeks. You should get him. And he says, right, we'll have him. And then we got him, and 2 unbelievable
I
episodes.
thought it was very good as well.
Yeah.
No,
Really
it was
enjoyed
brilliant.
it. He, I suppose in a sense I can really identify with it as well, because he opened himself up like I did
Yeah.
in the first episode.
He
It's
did.
like you do your own live autopsy, don't you? You just go scalpel and you just pull your 2 bleeding ribs back and you go, this is me. Do you know what I mean? And there's no kind of worrying about, it's kind of like, fuck what people think. fuck what people say. Do you know what I mean? This is it. Like,
It's normalising speaking out, but isn't it, Willa?
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about it. He literally opened up and it was just a...
Yeah.
But it's very, very top. Men's mental health is topical. I was talking about it, and talking especially about the construction industry at the moment. Like, it's people do not talk about it. I mean, there's fellas... I worked on a site there bleeding a few months ago, and a fella come in of a bleeding Monday morning and took his own life on the site. Like, do you know what I mean? Never got the... I think the CIF, the Construction Industry Federation, and the construction industry on the whole needs to have a specific number or a specific helpline for construction workers in construction, because there's loads of drugs on construction sites. People have problems on them. Blokes like to walk around their Snickers and tell you, no, everything's cool, sound, bro.
Yeah.
You know, this, that, and the other. Image and ego it comes hand in hand with a safe pass and a manual handling cert.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a man's kind of world, but people suffer. People can put on a mask and say, look, on grand, everything is cool and this, that, and the other, when they're really bleeding, dying inside and afraid to say anything to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, because people think you're less, you know, if you kind of say that you need help, it's kind of seen and sensed as a weakness, like, you know, when it's not really. I think strong people ask for help and strong people tell you that there's something wrong, to address it and kind of just go, look, I'm struggling here, look, I'm in deep, and you know, especially with addiction, like whether it's gambling addiction, whether it's drinking addiction, whether it's sniffing, whether it's tablets, whether it's something like that, all plays a factor in people's mental health, you know.
It's a good way to look, and that's one of the main reasons why I love that as well, because you said it in the first one, I think it was, something about hiding behind the tears of a clown, because you're a comedian.
Yeah.
And then you don't know any of that going on, so that would be the main reason.
Everyone thinks he's this happy-go-lucky fella.
Because he is, but he is that as well, but you don't see the problems. And then when he says them, you're like, fuck me, man.
Yeah.
You know?
That was
Yeah,
deep.
definitely. I tip my hat to the fella. I've never met a bloke in person, but I think you kind of, when you do episodes like that, you feel as if you know him.
Yeah.
Do you know, at the end of it, like, you kind of go, you know, you just tip your hat to blokes like that and you say, well, fair play to you. It's not easy. You know, it's easy to come in here and have a laugh and tell everyone, oh, yeah, no, tell you about this. But I mean, when you really peel the whole bleeding thing back and you go, well, look, this is really what's going on. Like, it kind of, you're showing your vulnerability, but you're also showing that, look, it's actually all right to talk, lads.
Yeah.
Look, if I can come on a platform like this and tell people, whatever, it's all right to pull one of your mates aside. Someone that you trust and someone that you kind of know has your back to say, listen, things aren't good with me. So that's what I'd say to people, the way things are at this time of year, especially Christmas. Christmas is a big day for people. I always say to people, you've nothing to worry about. And they go, what do you mean? I say, we're not a fucking turkey, like. Do you know what I mean? Like, so don't be worrying. You'll get over Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Things will be all right. It's only one day of the year. Yeah. And it's a sellout for what it's worth. Like, it's just a money scam.
Huge build up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a money scam. And I mean, all the families and all the people that genuinely don't have it, they give
pressure
to their kids, that put themselves into debt with loan sharks and go to, you know, and borrow themselves up to the eyeballs because their kids want top of the range bleeding jackets or top of the range runners or whatever. Do you know what I mean? How do you do that? Like, you know, it's a material goods extravaganza is exactly what Christmas is. I think we lose the whole point, and not that I'm a Catholic or anything like that. I am, and by any stretch of the imagination, I'll be more spiritual than I would be religious. But I think everyone just tends to forget what Christmas is actually about. Like, I mean, when Jesus was in the manger, like, there was no one there with a PlayStation 5. Do you know what I mean? Or a pair of bleeding Nike Air Max and a Canada Goose jacket going, look at to get you sorted, yeah, everything's cool, we're going to party tonight in Club 22. Like, there was none of that. There was a smell of donkey shit and bleeding a birth of a child that was something special in the world. And it was nothing about that. People just forget about it. But we're human beings. We think we have needs. Advertising will tell us, you know, you need to get this and you need to get that to be cool. You need to have them runners because everyone will think that you're cool and all that. When realistically, man, you don't. You can get by on what you have, like, you know. We all have wants. But you got to remember that every day your needs are met. I get up every morning, there's food in the fridge. Do you know what I mean? There's bleeding tax and insurance on the car and whatever. Yeah, we all like nice stuff. We all like new runners and we all like new tracksuits and jackets and whatever it might be. But realistically, when you separate your wants and your needs, it's, I mean, I was in Size the other day down the road and I went in and it's putting me in there is like putting someone with a bleeding sweet addiction into a shop, and there was loads and loads of runners, and I had a particular pair of runners on me, and it wasn't the price, and I just kind of got a moment and said to myself, and I had a voucher, by the way, as well, for £100. So my head is telling me straight away, So these runners are only 50 quid because they're 150 quid. They're not. The voucher's 100 quid. They're still 150 quid.
Yeah.
And the manager in there says to me, Willa, I know him well, like, he says to me, Willa, I don't buy them. He says, come in the sales, kind of give me the heads up, like. But I mean, I wanted them runners, I didn't need them.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's the
Like,
difference, yeah.
I wanted them.
Yeah.
And I just walked out of the shop and I actually felt bleeding all right. Do you know what I mean? And I'm one of these last minute fellas on Christmas. I go in, like, my missus is so organised. Do you know what I mean? She's done, dusted, and loads of people are like that. I'm not. I love the chaos. It's like that, you know, that painting the scream. You know, standing. I'd be like that in the middle of Henry Street. Just go in and get people a voucher or whatever. Once you're thinking of them and once you're doing something.
Yeah.
And Christmas for me is all about family. People getting together that you haven't seen for years, catching up with them, telling your family that you bleeding love them. Do you know what I mean? And making it special. Because you know what, lads? Nothing's fucking guaranteed. You don't know who at that table is going to be there next year. And that's the fucking harsh reality of it. So tell someone that you love them this Christmas. Do you know what I mean? And bleeding, squeeze them that little bit harder when you're hugging them because tomorrow's not promised. You're in the present, and the present is a gift.
That's why it's called the present.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. This message is brought to you by William White.
William T. White.
Fuck me, you went on a tangent there,
Yeah,
didn't you?
just ran off on one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, I
Happens.
loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do it at home. I get stopped. Stop that shit.
Nip that in the
Pass us
bud.
the sauce.
Have you got a personal favourite episode?
Yeah. I say to everybody, someone who's never listened to the podcast, I always say the one episode to go that I think sells the podcast the best is the one with your ma. 23.
Yeah.
Episode 23, just with ma.
We're all numbers, aren't we? We're just a number.
You are. Me and Terence are.
No, we don't your name. We just want your number.
Yeah.
What number are you on the podcast?
Yeah. Says number 20 over there. No, but the one with your ma, Terence, and I was only saying it to someone the other day, there was a moment in it, and it was this moment that took me aback. And I know we always talk about like how hard it was because you were in the room, but just when she's talking, like she's pouring it all out on the table and she's talking about all the things she's done wrong in her life that she regrets and how much she hates herself for it. And then she just looks at you and she just goes, and I'm sorry. And I was like, oh my God, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I can't believe I'm witnessing this. And it's just, it was magic, you know what I mean? And like I always say, it's the best piece of the podcast that we have across the 52 episodes, and that's no disrespect to everyone, because as you said, well, no one has to come on this podcast, and even people that we've had on, and we've had arguments and disagreements, and we don't see eye to eye with everybody, but I respect them for coming on, and you don't have to do it, but that one moment, it was just, you couldn't put a price on it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you couldn't write it either, because it was the most genuine thing. It was a mother who had a broken heart, and how she thought she'd heal it is if she got the forgiveness from her son. And he's sitting there in front of her, like, you know what I mean?
But I think you already forgave her.
Yeah, I did.
Because I personally think, and I listened to that one myself as well, I think sometimes people don't, and it's like, I done a lot of that stuff, like when I was using and when I was taking drugs, I done terrible things on my family, like, do you know what I mean? And when I went then and made amends to them, do you know what I mean? I had a list, like, and I went to people and I just said, look, I says, I'm sorry for doing this and I'm sorry for doing that, and It's like I think people, sorry is just a word. Like, I think if you show people and they see that you're sorry, and you see the way your mum has been the last good few years, that she doesn't need to say that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, look, come here. Boy, why are you telling us sorry? Look what you're doing now, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's about what's going on now. Yeah. Because, I mean, and it's the same like what I talked about the present. Like, we can't do anything about yesterday. We can't do anything about an hour ago. That time goes. Do you know what I mean? Time just keeps moving on. You hear people all the time, you say to them sometimes, what are you doing? And they go, I'm killing time, like, you know what I mean? No, time's killing you, man. Do you know what I mean? We're all only here for the time, like, for a certain amount of time. And then you're penciled in upstairs to how you're going, when you're going, and what date you're going. And there's no avoiding fate. That's what I'm saying. Like, so your ma, in my opinion, has been sorry for a long time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can all do this thing and go, sorry, I'm sorry. How many sorries do you need to bleed in here? Like, you'll know when people are sorry, they stop doing what they've been doing. All the time, do you know what I mean? And your mum has stopped that.
Yeah.
And she's an amazing woman. But she must have been the bleeding, razor bleeding. Smashing yumpler, look at yourself.
A smashing yumpler, look at brother chair.
Right. Mad deep there again, boys, yeah?
Deep.
Yeah. Who was the best dressed guest that we had on?
As in, who came into us
Who
best
came in
dressed?
the best dressed and sat in that chair?
So.
Come out, yeah.
That's it. So, on to the next one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, come here, listen to me. I'll take me hat off to that bloke, right? He wears what he wants to wear, right? We wear what others are wearing. We are in the flock, right? We're running with the bleeding labels, yeah? Soso don't give a rat's. Soso is outside the pack looking at everyone going, this is what I'm wearing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I take me hat off to him.
I give him the best and the worst dressed at the same time, if that makes sense.
So he's the West dressed.
Who's the East dressed?
I'm giving him the best and the worst at the exact same time.
So who's the best dressed? And you have to bring the women into this as well, because the women are very trendy.
Yeah, right.
So who's the best dressed? Imagine me now in a pair of ski pants, lads.
I don't know. I don't think anyone ever come in.
I tell you, I've been up on wars
I
with
tell you,
that.
my old cellmate used to stick them on me.
Some bowl of soup on the Willa fella.
Some guard of patrol.
Come here. I don't think someone's ever come in and when they left, like, he was bleeding some girl up on him. Other than Soso, obviously, but like that comes with the package with Soso.
Yeah.
Lads, if I'd have known this award was going round now, I'd have bleeding come in sharp as a Mac tree off the stalls in Henry Street.
Yeah.
Do you ever use them yokes?
No.
Half your jaws be in the sink. Them bleeding snide Mac trees, man. Give them to someone you hate for Christmas. Telling you now, man, you're getting plastic surgery after these things. Did you ever see them?
Skin grafts.
Yeah.
Oh,
stop.
Right.
Right, so who's the best dressed, Terence, in your opinion?
Soso and the worst.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why'd you look confused?
No, he's either the best or he's not the best.
No, he is. Do you know what I mean when I'm saying that?
Yeah. Yeah. He's uniquely dressed.
He's the most funky.
But
I
like,
wouldn't put it
no.
on me. Do you get me?
The first time he come on, what was he wearing? Was he wearing dungarees? No, what was he wearing the first time he come on? He wore something mad.
Something, yeah, funky as well again, yeah.
And then the second time he come on was better. He was dressed better, but worse.
Yeah, at the same time.
But I think, personally, Soso is a stylish, right? I'd say if you told Soso, listen, we're going somewhere.
Same Mike Willa.
Right, if we're going somewhere, Soso, I want you to bleed and knock it out of the park here. Stick something on really smart. I'd say the man knows how to dress.
Yeah, he was out there that night. He was looking fresh as fuck.
And if you give Soso a few Bob Dylans and send them into James Brown and says, right, knock yourself out there and dress yourself sharp, like a sharp dressed man, I'm telling you now, man, he turn heads. He knows how to dress.
Right, moving off Soso. That's some pluggies at the end now. Who had the best haircut?
It's not this yoke, lads. I call this with a rock.
He want the best haircut.
Here.
Christy
Here.
Dignam was fresh.
Here.
Get Dignam. Oh,
Look at that. That's some party piece. Is that a toupee, is it?
Oh my God, I don't
Yeah,
like
can you do that? Look at.
Yeah.
Look at.
Rio Ferdinand. Come
Who
here.
the best haircut?
Christy Dignam.
Did he, yeah?
He was fresh.
Get Dignam was fresh, man.
Christy's a good dresser as well.
Yeah.
Christy wears nice treads.
You know
Yeah.
the Christy fella,
Yeah, I
don't
know
you?
Christy very well, yeah.
Christy Dignam,
Christy's
yeah.
a good bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Great
Legend.
story. That was actually a great podcast as well, lads.
Yeah, good
I
story
have to
behind that
say,
one.
Christy was up there with them.
That's
Yeah.
my brother's favourite, Gavin. Gavin loves Christie's and Brian Penny's.
Yeah, tell the story about Christy Dignam's one movie.
God.
So, yeah, it'd be great to do it. And again, so the reason, sorry, Willa, when you were talking earlier, you said something about the barbers, the hair. So, for anyone that hasn't listened to Willa's episode, we done it in a barber shop because we had nowhere else to do it.
I'll take you to the barber shop.
So, when Christy's episode rolled around, he invited us up to his house to do it. And we brought all the material up, the mics, the stands, the wires, the amp, everything in it except the mics.
everything but the mics.
Like the one job, the one job.
Like
So
you can forget a stand, you can forget a wire heard in there, a fucking microphone.
Had Christy no mics in the gaff?
no,
Oh,
you
yeah,
did.
he did. When you left, me, obviously I was stuck with Christy, then Calvin had to fuck off back down to the Diamond from his gaff. I won't say where he lives, of course. But I was sitting there then with Christy in the gaff and tell us you're having a heart to heart. We did a full podcast on our own. Calvin was
Yeah.
gone for hours. He ends up saying to me, I have
Well,
mics up there.
the all round trip. It should have took 50 minutes. I was up and back in 20. Foot to the floor.
D1 driving skill.
You want to check me out, Need for Speed, but
But imagine that, getting invited to Christy Dignam's house to do a podcast and Calvin just
Forget
Do you
so
know how
much.
long I know Christy?
How long?
I know Christy since the very beginning of Aslan. Because my best mate at the time, his brother was the old bass player, a fella called Tony McGuinness, who wrote a lot of Aslan songs as well.
Yeah.
And so I know them since like the very beginning of time. Joe Jewell used to work with me dad. Alan Downey on the drums. I only know him from the band and Billy. But I know Christy and obviously the old bass player since they started, since time, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What an amazing band. Like.
Boys,
Yeah.
it's only
They're great.
iconic.
iconic, yeah, they are. They have a cult following as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
I
mean?
mean, any of them tunes that get into the UK charts. Think
Yeah.
about it. Some of them tunes, like.
But he burned the ears off you while I was gone, didn't he?
Like a rash of
Oh, he
full
can talk.
podcast.
Christy can talk.
We can talk for Ireland, that fella. I
Platinum.
loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I just kept on sitting there going, I'm sitting here in Christy Dignam's gaff.
And he's
just having a
burning the
hard
air
time.
off him.
He's very interesting. He's
Yeah.
very, very down to earth as well.
He's a buzzer.
There's no
Serious
airs or
buzzer.
graces, and he's very funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is a
He's
character.
very,
He was
very
ripping
funny,
us
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ripping us out.
Yeah.
No, and we're there, like, you know, real timid, trying to be polite and all, like, and he's lacing us
I
out.
wonder
with
if
his
Catherine cut his hair for him.
She probably does.
Does she?
Probably does. Yeah, well, she's a hairdresser.
Yeah, he's constantly fresh.
Yeah.
Constantly fresh. But get Dignam best haircut.
And that's all.
Is that it?
Right on.
Yeah.
Did we not have who's the worst fighter?
Mick
Mick Conlon, yeah,
anyways.
100%.
Does not have to do best footwear.
Oh, best footwear.
Lads, yous are into bleeding trainers, like, so yous must be looking at someone's
But
mincemeat.
not a lot of people come in wearing the runners.
Yeah,
Do you get me? Like, we have people on here coming in here and winkle pickers and all.
yeah.
Chester slices and all that.
Do you know?
Coffee
John McGuckin
slices.
come in
Kick
a
the
pair
eye
of New Balance
Kick
jokes.
the eye out of a beetle with these jokes on.
Do you know what I mean, Joe?
New Balance are trendy. The 337s are nice.
I'm wearing this now, but the runners on the other hand now.
You have to be a dad to wear the runners.
Yeah.
No, have a look at the new 337s, lads.
Yeah.
I don't like the toe on the New Balance because they're very roundy.
Yeah.
The old stuff, but I'm saying the 337s, which me missus was actually looking at last night. She's looking at a lovely mustard pair. They're actually nice. They're a nice trainer.
No, I
New
agree
Balance
with
have
you.
been around for a long time.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Me dad used to always wear them with that, and I used to always
Yeah.
give him stick. What are they? Ends on the side of them and all. And I'm talking back in early 2000s,
Yeah.
99. Like, what are they? End on the side, and then they come out over here, and everyone had them.
New Balance, yeah. There's loads of there's runners out, well, that used to be out that aren't out anymore. They used to be good. Kangaroos were a good runner. Do you ever hear of Kangaroos?
Bouncing around on them.
Google bang them, boys. They're a few quid as well. They're not
Google
cheap.
bang them.
Google bang.
Yeah, Kangaroos and Avius, AVIA, is another old school trainer as well, which I haven't seen in a long, long time. But Kangaroos and AVIA, they're called, yeah. Nice trainers.
Right,
Boxed off.
that's the awards done. Yeah.
The awards for the year done and dusted. We were going to do the best and the worst, but it's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Well, we just pick worst fighter, Mick
Do you know
Conlon.
what, lads? Come here, listen. Podcasts are like bleeding bottles of wine. Some people like certain bottles, other people don't. And the variety is what keeps this going.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to... Some people's worst could be some people's best. And some people's best could be some people's worst.
Yeah.
And that's why the variation is always good.
Yeah.
Well, anyone bleeding, it seems anyway kind of interesting at all. And I'm sure after this year now, come here, next year is going to be a big year for us.
Yeah, well,
Do you know what I mean?
Things planned, well,
Yeah, cautious have.
Yeah, big things
When
planned.
you big things planned, big things happen, Terence.
Yeah. We've merch coming soon.
Merch on the way. Live
Yeah.
shows.
Live shows.
Hopefully we'll have it.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing about live shows is you don't know with the way restrictions are going, so it's very hard to plan in the future because you don't want to plan too far ahead, but you want it to happen as soon as possible. Then it might get changed. So live shows aren't in the works, though. You know what I mean?
I think a Paddy's Day show would be a great show, and a bleeding number 22 part
And
2
after
that
party,
night.
Yeah.
Think about it, diddly
round 2 and 22.
They were all up around bleeding St. Patrick's. Get a couple of real Irish kind of guests on. I don't know, throw a name out there, good Irish traditional singer Damien Dempsey. maybe have him on Paddy's Day or Sinead O'Connor or someone kind of like that. And then that night bleeding up to 22 and bleeding, yup, let it loose.
What do you think about the last year?
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
In what sense?
Like, just sum it all up. Do you ever try to reflect on it?
Yeah.
Like, what's after happening?
But I can't. It's only when I say certain things sometimes to people and their reaction, I go, fuck me, that must have been big.
Yeah.
So like when you, like if someone who hasn't listened to the podcast and they say, who had just gone on that, like now you say like Liam Cunningham, and they go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you're sort of like, Jesus Christ, like that actually is a huge name and things like that, you know what I mean? But I don't reflect often enough.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
I don't think we give yourself enough time to reflect, because like once this episode is done, it's like, right, who's next?
But
No,
that is what it is for
yeah,
us.
but I also think as well that you don't really see how far you've come. It's other people that see how far you've come.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
realise how good you're doing until other people actually say it to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When realistically, like, you're fucking flying, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, it's been a mad year for you in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Considering where you were at the beginning of the year and where you were living.
Yeah.
And the progression with everything and where you are now, man. I mean, Jesus, I remember me and you, like, it seems like I know you for years, like,
know,
and I
yeah.
only know you a few months, like.
know.
Do you know what I'm saying? But at
He's
the
a young
same,
bloke.
yeah, no, but you know what? Come here. We all need someone to talk to. And maybe sometimes I needed just to talk to bleeding him.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way thing. It's not about me kind of ringing you up and seeing how you are or whatever. Because
Well,
when
you met me in a mad
conversations,
time, though. You met me in the time of all
I
that
met you.
when I was
No, do
stuck
you know
there
what?
and
I
all.
met you when I was meant to meet you.
Yeah.
Like fate, it's like fate, isn't it? You meet people when you're meant to meet
Yeah,
them, and
manifest it.
and that's it. Like, but come here, great things have happened for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And great things will happen for you as long as you continue to do what you're doing. Stay off the art of Scargill. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stay away from the bleeding Bolivian marching powder and things. You don't need you to stay away, man. You're bleeding fresh as
Calvin
fresh,
has his life in order.
the fresh Prince of Dublin one.
Yeah, I left 22s last night, and everyone's like, where you going? I goes, I'm down to get me car. They're like, you're going to drive? I was like, you're not listening to the bleeding podcast, you know I don't drink.
That's my favourite song by thing, do you know that? By what's his name? The Irish singer with the beard. The red
Glenn
beard.
Hazard?
No.
Gavin James?
Yeah. Did you ever hear that song 22?
Yeah,
Oh, stop, man.
it's a good tune.
Bring a tear to a bleeding glass eye.
Yeah, it's a good, it's a good tune.
Is it?
Yeah,
Great tune,
yeah, it's a good tune. But
On the subject of songs, Calvin.
hang on, I'll come back around there. Now,
Calvin's getting stoned.
They,
Respect it.
I don't know, like in the last year, right? It's a weird one because like we have a podcast, and I know a lot of people joke about it, saying like, bleeding everyone has a podcast now, but I never noticed that how many podcasts actually was out there, because I used to listen to loads, still do, and then you realise like when you look at the charts, just how many is on Spotify? Spotify have like 200 in that chart,
Yeah.
and then there's X amount, 1,000 more, and then you realise like our name's up there, and you're looking, Joe Rogan's up there, Tommy Ternan's up there.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
these are people who are known that have a podcast, yeah?
Yeah.
And then me and Terence are known for having a podcast. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a podcast by the people, for the people.
I know, and that's what
And
I'm
that's why
trying.
people strongly
Yeah.
identify with it. Because, do you know what I mean? Like, yous are just ordinary youngflas next door. Like, do you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, no disrespect, Tommy is a great person, but people know who Tommy Tiernan is. People knows who Joe Rogan is. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody 53 weeks ago knew who Calvin O'Brien was or knew who Terence Power was.
Yeah.
Guess what, motherfucker? They do now.
Yeah. But that's the thing, when we started it was all the show. With this what came into my head yesterday, yeah. When we started it was to show people that there's people like us out there that can do well, that you can't typecast us all, we're not all destined to be bad eggs, right?
No.
And I think we turned the corner, right? So that's what we were trying to do there, I think, was to show people like us that there's better versions of us out there who you can be. And now what we're doing is we're showing, that was the people inside, we're showing outside. Now we're showing the people outside who we are. Do you know what I mean? So there's people inside their circle, in these working class areas, we're showing them, look at it, there's a bigger world out there. We're just a small percentage of that. Don't be fucking don't be bet down with these negative stories you heard about these areas, and you're not good enough for school and you're not good enough for that job. You can, and we're bringing on these people who've had it hard and they've turned their life around, you know. Well, and now what we're doing is we're showing people outside, two young blokes from inner city Dublin, working class young blokes, didn't have the best of educations, didn't have the best of upbringings, didn't have the best experience in life. And they had who on the podcast? They had Roddy Doyle on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like what I said the other night. Like I was actually saying on stage in the Laughter Lounge that I left school with no qualifications whatsoever. And sometimes in life, you don't need qualifications or a piece of paper to get you through life. You can get through life fairly comfortable with no qualifications and pieces of paper do help. But I mean, there's entrepreneurs in this world that have cultivated businesses and fortunes for themselves with no education whatsoever.
Of course, you have a better chance with education. Though,
Definitely. Like, I'm not sitting here telling any teenager or anything that's listening to this. Like, I firmly believe, and I was only saying it to my daughter the other day in the car. She's 14 years of age. And I'm saying to her, look, get educated.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get yourself a good job, something that you want to do, you know, that you don't feel like you're working, that you're doing. Travel the world, go and see different cultures, meet different people. Do you know what I mean? And then come back and settle down and have a couple of kids and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I'd certainly say, get educated. But what I'm saying to you is, in some circumstances,
it's not the be-all and end-all.
It's definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, 100% I agree with you there.
And if you think of the things that we touched on, do you know what I mean? It's mad. There's not many topics we don't talk about. Addiction, crime, education, gentrification, sport, fashion, comedy. We've had fighters,
Success,
politicians, all sorts of people on this. Journalists,
I was only
everything.
thinking about her there earlier.
It's mad.
I don't mean to address her like that.
Yeah.
I mean, she has a job, she does her job,
Yeah.
or papers, or column sells. Come here, she's made a life out of it. Do you know what I mean? Yet the stuff that she's written that we don't agree with because of where we come from and wherever. But I mean, look at, come here, who are we to agree or to disagree with stuff?
But it's not mad.
Do you know what I mean? It's paid our mortgage and it's put food on our table. And I know there's probably blokes going, hang on for a minute.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be people like that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
She stopped me on the street a few weeks ago.
Did she? I mean, do you know what I say to her? And I'll be straight up with you. I tip me hat to her. She had the balls to go, do you know what? I'm going on the podcast.
And that's why I said...
She could have turned it down and went, I'm
yeah.
going to get roasted here by the two of these. She didn't. She came in, come here, you just put questions to her that people wouldn't put to her. Do you know what I mean? She
But
put her
that's
cards
what
on
we
the
say with
table.
that. We're not in here to roast anybody.
No.
Doesn't matter who they have. If somebody comes in here, they have our respect off
Everyone
the bat.
gets
Doesn't
a fair swing at it.
Yeah.
100%. You come in here, you take a seat there, and listen, if there's things that we disagree with that you do, we'll ask you the question. We're not in here to go,
You don't
"You're
bully
a
anybody, you know?
fucking
You
idiot." No.
genuinely don't.
We don't. And
I
it's
know you
easy.
don't.
We have people saying to us, well, why didn't you do this when this person said this? Well, like, because who are we to bring somebody in here and go, who the fuck are you to do this and whatever and whatever? We're not like that.
You're setting someone
Man,
up.
I tell you something, if you do that to people, no one's going to come onto this.
No, you're setting them up with that. We're not
Telling
all
you now,
about that, you know what I mean?
you're ringing up people with a false sense of security.
Exactly.
You're bringing them in and they're like a lamb coming into the slaughter.
Yeah.
You two years might as well be sitting there with knives as they're sitting there and going, right. Do you know what I mean? You don't. You do what you do. You say, you put a couple of things to them that you don't agree with, and a lot of other people don't agree with, and you let them have their say.
And it's not very often either. Most people that are in here, it's like they're in here for a reason because we love what they're doing or because we're excited
We're
about
interested.
something or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come here, it's just a paper, and as I always say, look at papers don't refuse ink. And I said this the last time, bad news sells. You see a bad headline on the Sunday World, you're picking her up. Like, I don't buy it personally, but I'm saying you just pick it up.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear good news. Good news doesn't sell. They want to hear about catastrophes and they want to hear about murder. They want to hear about the way the economy is and how diesel prices are gone through the bleeding roof and this, that and the other. It's all that, the negative stuff. So I find that if you don't pick up the paper and you don't really listen to the news, I have enough stuff going on in my own head without listening to all the other shit that's going on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, get up and get on with it, innit?
And it's mad when you think back, you know what I mean, Terence? Because it's one of these things where we're from, like, you're supposed to hate people like that. And then, if you would have told me in January, you're going to sit down and you're going to actually have a conversation with that person, I would have said, yeah, what are you smoking? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then not even that,
Guys,
like,
a 50 bag of that, girl.
like Lim Rowan, basically, Lim Rowan mentioned us in the Senate or the Senate, whatever it's bleeding called.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's other stuff we done, and you're just like, what? Like, that's mad.
Well, I
isn't
was in the Dáil today. Like, we have a job in the Dáil. Like, and I was walking around the Dáil, and I was actually thinking to myself, you know, to be in kind of places that that I shouldn't be in. That my head tells me
Yeah.
I shouldn't be in. Do you know what I mean? And I've been with people in the past that my head will tell me as well, from that street mentality
You're not
and
supposed
that
to be.
bleeding thing
Yeah.
like that. You shouldn't be here. You're not good enough to be here. You're only a tow rag. You're only a bleeding ex-drug addict. You're a scumbag. Do you know what I mean? All the negative. And I just turn it around going, why shouldn't I be here?
Yeah, exactly,
I'm as good as anybody else. I'm an upstanding member of society at the moment. I pay me taxes. I do whatever I need to do to get by. I'm not a bad person, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so you need to stop listening to yourself sometimes and bring out the positive in it. I mean, we're all where we're meant to be in life, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think what you give out to people, if you give out goodness to people, people will give you goodness back. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you'll always meet a bleeding asshole every now and again that'll have something to say about, oh yeah, you should have, you know, comments I'm sure that is get from people, and you're going to go, see, you'll hone in on the one negative comment than you will on the 100 good ones.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm doing a gig, right? If I'm doing a gig in a room and there's 300 people there and 299 of them are laughing and there's one fella just sitting there like that, right? I would be more conscious of him than the 299 that's having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't like the comedy I'm doing. That's all right.
Yeah.
He's probably into dark, mad stuff or something bleeding else.
Yeah.
Fine, or he's probably into musical comedy or whatever it might be. So you just let people
That's
be people.
where I reckon would be the biggest thing for us would have been the personal growth from things like that, where at the start I'd have been like, look at that cunt that's saying that, look what, I didn't think that and whatever, and now I'm sort of like, alright Grant, he has his opinion,
Yeah.
we move on.
Live and let live.
Yeah.
But
Live
you know
your
what?
life and let everyone else live theirs.
Yeah.
Do you know what's hard with that, Willa? Is because I think a lot of people, when we did Sign to Go Loud, it did expose us to a wider audience, and a lot of people are texting us as if, like, you won't see us on the street, you know, like that, as if we're not ordinary people. So I'm like, who the fuck is this cunt saying that? Like, I'd walk past him on the street and he wouldn't say that to me, you know what I mean? Because there's a good chance I will walk past him on the street.
Yeah.
Because I'm still walking around these streets, I'm still living the same life. Or just because I have a podcast that's exposed to thousands of people a
Lads,
week.
you'll never lose the run of yourselves.
No, never.
I know that.
Never.
I mean, I've, you know, fame and fortune can change an awful lot of people, but I think when you come from where we come from, you just kind of you're grounded, like. Do you know what I mean? Like you just it's in you. I mean, you can't forget where you came from. Like I can't. No. Definitely, like I am who I am. Like, come here, we'd all love a few bob and whatever. You're kind of looking at the Euro millions going 19 million, like. But the bleeding streetwise fella in me will go, yeah, if I won that, what I'd do is I'd say nothing to no one. Yeah. And then when it's won in a couple of weeks' time for $1.5 million, I'd say that was me. Do you know what I mean? I put in the other 17 and a half under the mattress, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come here, it's only money. It always, you know, people always say, what would you do? What would you do with 19 million, Calvin?
I genuinely, Willa, I couldn't tell it. I always think about, no, I don't always, but you know when people say this, I think about it a lot, and I say, it overwhelmed me that much, I'd probably live my life normal for a couple of weeks until I actually got my head around it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd still go to work, I'd still do the podcast, and I'd be like, oh, I have 90 million in my bank, what do you do?
Terence the jury would be out with you. He'd be like Beetlejuice after about 2 weeks, running around Manor Street.
Black and white suit on. Sponsored by Soso Murray. I don't know, it's just a mad one, Willa, that, like, just where we came from, you know what I mean? The stuff I'm talking about, the reach we've had, the message you get out of people coming up to us and all last night, and the stuff they were saying, it's just mad, mate. Like, because I still, and I, with no disrespect to Terence, I don't think we're doing nothing special. You know what I mean? I think we up at sitting here talking.
Well, I tell you, I met a fella, I don't know whether I told you this, I probably told one of you, I met a fella down swimming in Port Marnock there a couple of months ago, and he heard the podcast with me on it. He said to me, it's mad that I'm meeting you down here this morning. He says, the only reason I'm down here swimming is because of you, he says.
That's mad.
And come here, see just that. If that's all I got out of the whole lot of this, that's enough for me.
It's mad
That,
though,
he
isn't
says,
it?
the only
Yeah.
reason I'm here, he says, swimming in the sea, he says, because I heard you on the Talking Bollox podcast, he says, and I'm really delighted to meet you. And I took his number and I gave him my number, and he's a real kind of, are you sure it's all? I says, yeah. I says, where? And he was actually living in Swords. I says, I live in Swords as well. So if you ever want to get a cup of coffee or anything like that, give me a shout. And he was just kind of blown away, you know. And I just kind of, I felt, isn't it great to give a little bit back? We all like taking. We all like going, gimme. I just find there's an awful lot more and giving a little bit back to bleeding somebody. Do you know what I mean? Looking for nothing in return, like. I was just glad that day that he kind of says, you know, I listen and he's a bleeding dry robe on him. And he says, I come down here now every few days. He says, I get in the water. He says, I can understand what you're talking about. He says about bleeding, getting out of your head and all that. He said, because I suffer kind of with my head a little bit. So it was just great, yeah. Good stuff.
Well, that's unbelievable.
And see, it's stuff like that, yeah, that makes you think, like, what's going to happen in the next year? The next 52 episodes, what we're going to do? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the impact you have. Like, remember, like, we were on Bleeding RTE and all times. We were in RTE studios. We were on the telly. There's newspaper articles getting written about us and all. It's madness. Like, Jack Bourne's episode last week, someone wrote an article about that episode. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is mad. Who's listening to this? It's crazy.
The first episode of 2, we were like, the inner city is listening.
Hey, mates and family.
And then it's Dublin is starting to listen.
See, it's a broader audience, and the people.
Now it's Ireland, the whole of Ireland. And then it's 56
Irish
countries.
abroad, yeah.
Like a bloke texted me there last week and he's like, how's it going? Big fan of the podcast. I'm from Texas. Please don't hate me or whatever.
Yeah.
From Texas?
Yeah.
You're off the phone.
Blocked. Get off me. But I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
do you know what I
madness.
mean?
No, yeah.
Like, it's, like at first, because even I used to get, because we used to do a lot of interviews now, and we did an interview with Off the Ball, and I find, when I look back on them now, I'm like, yeah, so like the inner city, because I felt like that's all that was listening. We were oblivious to how wide of an audience it was.
Yeah, but you see, the thing about it as well, especially with classes like, you know, like we're from working class and middle class people listening to this kind of would go now. They're actually not that bad, like. Because what they'd be brought up with listening to, probably from their parents or generations before them, don't go into the inner city, or this, or that, and whatever. And then
that's
they
a
listen to this
perception made by
podcast.
the media and
Yeah, but
stuff.
that's what I'm saying. But they listen to the podcast and they go, do you know what? They're actually just like us with different accents. Like. That's the
Exactly,
truth.
yeah. Right, we forgot to do the quiz last week with Jack Bourne.
Yeah, so
check
we've-
that episode out. But this week we've 3 questions, have we?
3 questions, yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
know why it's
Same as
3.
you've seen the answer to the first one, Terence.
Yeah.
I have rewritten the first one myself.
Well, lad,
Oh,
do
here
me
we
a
are,
favour,
well,
right? And just keep the pages closed.
Just
so we
look
can
that
see
way.
into it.
Okay. So the first question is, which is my question, yeah?
Right, so I'll answer first, Calvin answer second, and it's rounded off, is it?
Yeah, fair enough. I'll go with that.
Right, go for it.
Your podcast, you make
Yeah,
the rules, yeah?
Right.
let's
go.
rock.
Right, so the first question is, Terence, who invented the American Navy? Oh, sorry, who founded the American Navy?
Why'd you do that? Do you know it? Do you
Because
know
he
it?
told us his story on his episode. He told us his story. And I know.
Oh, I know it.
You don't know it.
Yeah, man from Wexford.
Yeah.
What's his name?
What's his name? Bastard.
I know it.
What's it?
Yeah.
What's his name?
There's a statue of him in
Name's
Wexford.
not yet.
William B. Joyce.
No.
William B. Wallace.
Get off the stage. Hey, couldn't he give you a better question, lads?
I know, I'm fuming. I remember it though.
Ernest. His second name's Ernest. No.
His name's none of them, lads.
Cormac Joyce.
Buzzy Martin. No. So none of you know that.
No.
No.
His name is John Barry.
Fuming. We should have known it.
Well, you should have. Right. So your second question is, in what year did Dublin celebrate its millennium?
Right.
Millennium.
Come on, how are you getting on with that word there,
My
Willa?
mate, millennium. My mate thought it was millennium. He was just going around punching the head off blokes. So I thought it was millennium one year.
Oh, Willa, you're a scumbag.
What do you call the Dublin fella that likes breaking up fights?
Don't know.
Leave him alone.
Right. I don't know what.
So,
I don't
in
know
what year did Dublin
Celebrate
celebrate?
its millennium.
I don't know what that means.
Like its
Celebrate
1,000th
being-
year anniversary is a millennium.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess 2018.
What way is this going to work? Who gets closest to it?
Is that your answer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2018.
Okay,
could
it
be-
celebrated 1,000 years, a big celebration. So do you remember that in 2018?
No.
Well, then the chances are it wasn't that year, Terence.
93.
You with me?
93.
We're going to give you one more guess, Terence,
Do I get
because you
another one?
know, right?
Right, I'm gonna go 1974.
You were near it. It was actually 1988.
Yes, beautiful. Lovely.
They done the milk bottles and all that at the time. Premier Dairies.
That's too hard for me.
It's not too hard,
Bro, you
man.
literally had to pick a year.
Yeah, but it could be 18 something.
Right.
17
So
something.
here we are. Last question, right?
Right.
So you're 1 up so far,
Yeah,
yeah? 'Cause
so
you're
that's
nearest.
3-2.
No, I think it's 2-all now.
No, it was 2-all last week. I got it back. Remember with Pluto and T.
You bastard.
I got it back. It was
2-all.
2-all
You're
and 3-2 up now, yeah.
Right.
So, last question.
So
yeah?
you have a chance to go 4-2 up here? Bastard.
How many postcodes are there in Dublin, Terence?
All of Dublin.
Yeah. So you know the north side is uneven, the
Yeah.
south side is even.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 28.
right. Hang on.
Oh, you had to give it
No,
a
didn't do
no.
that.
Hang on. There's 1 to 24, right? So that's 24. Then there's D6W, so that'd be 25. And then County Dublin is a postcode, so that's 26. 26.
What are you saying?
28.
The correct answer is 22.
What?
Oh, come here, I'm going to throw in a Stewart's inquiry
no,
on
hang
that.
on. No, there is, because there's no like Dublin 22 or something like that.
Is there no Dublin
Or
24?
23. There's no Dublin 23.
There's a Dublin 24
Yeah.
Cali.
No, and there's no, I'm telling you now, like 21 or 23 is missing. Get a Stewart's inquiry up there, yeah.
Oh, and you want to Google bang that there, mate?
yo.
Checking for the offside
Yeah.
flag there. Come here, I'll give you a nice little fact anyways.
What does that
Ballyfermot.
mean? What does that mean? We're both wrong.
No, I got closer though.
I was hoping you'd say, oh, yeah, we're both wrong.
Come here, right? Ballyfermot
Yeah.
is Dublin 10, and it's the only area in Dublin that doesn't share a postcode with any other area.
And every
No, sure, no one in
person,
Ballyfermot shares aren't with anybody, so we wouldn't expect anything
every
less.
person from Ballyfermot was at that party last night, because all I kept hearing was, I'm
Ballia.
from Ballia.
Yo,
Yeah,
Ballia,
and
you Ballia
every
is-
person from Ballyfermot has a horse.
Yeah, I had to say that fact about 14 times last night. Remember,
Come
I was
here,
outside
that
telling
legends
everyone.
book.
I wish they all could be Ballyfermot girls.
Here we are. Right, here we are. Hang on, he's going to explain this.
I explained that.
So,
North side only goes up to D17, and then the south side goes to D24 and has D6W.
So I was right with the W part. I thought I tried to catch us out. Hang on, how is that a Dublin 24 and there's not a Dublin 19? That's mad, boys.
Who invented all that
Well, maybe
shit?
because there's not a Dublin 19 or a Dublin 23 is why there's only 22.
No,
What-
definitely
why do
is,
you
yeah,
need
but
them?
like,
Why do you need postcodes?
To say
peop-
where your mail goes to Terence.
Yeah,
Well-
but you just say your address now. Why
But it's
do you
all
actually-
air codes now, really, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, but why? Yeah, well, yeah.
and every air code is for your letterbox. It's not for the building. Or in England, Joey, the postcode is for the street. So
Yeah.
you and your neighbour can have the same postcode. Every air code is unique in Ireland. It's per the letterbox.
See, that makes more sense, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, see that? That's the
Having a
one
bit of
thing we
that.
actually got right in this country. So,
Yeah,
now there we are. Are we wrapping it up? Or will we do a
So
little
I'm
acapella?
4-2 down going to
Oh,
the
you
next
want to
week.
get bet round, bro.
Right.
You need to look up in the general knowledge to win this one for the Christmas, Terence. That's what you need to do.
Bro,
I think there should, do you know what I think there should be, right? I think there should be a forfeit for the loser.
There is. We said the other one can pick. Remember? The first of 5 can pick for the other one.
What?
What the other one does.
Maybe the
Is
last...
that microphone now still on?
Is
I
this
think
the
so.
last episode of the year?
Isn't it? It's bollocks. We
Well,
do one
then
every
maybe
week.
for the last episode of the year, whoever loses goes in and does it and dresses up in drag.
I do that.
But speaking of drag here, do you know that my cousin won RuPaul's Drag Race?
Did he?
Yeah,
Fuck off.
honest to God, you fuck off.
Waiting the
Yeah,
whole
no,
episode to do
no,
that.
yeah, he actually did. His stage name is Christel Versace. Have a look.
Really?
I swear to God, he won it outright. He's got about 170 or 180,000 followers now on
I'm
Instagram.
afraid to.
I'm not. Well, I'll tell you who exactly he is. He's
Yeah.
my first cousin's young fella. He's the youngest to ever win it as well, 19 years of age.
I come out, what did he win for?
He won a nice prize of going to America and doing a show or something like that, doing a series or something.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the air prize. He just wants the kind of prestige of winning it, and he's flat out
It's a big
walking at the
deal, that
moment.
yoke, isn't it? That real Paul joke.
Ah, you want
Doesn't he do like a road show, isn't
You
it?
want to have a look at him. You want to see him perform, and he's unbelievable. Your man RuPaul said he was actually born to be a drag queen. That's what he said.
Leo.
He's a lovely young fella.
Well, there we are now. Fair play. What's his name?
Christel Versace.
Christel Versace.
Krystal.
Crystal Versace, yeah.
Christel Versace. Yeah.
Christel.
Versace, shout out the year.
Big up Christel Versace.
Yeah.
It's in the family.
Yeah, now there you go. Right, what we do here? We wrap this one up.
Wrap her up. That's the 1 year anniversary episode over. I have a show by hangover.
I
I tell you, I got me a prosthetic leg for Christmas.
No.
I tell you, it's not a real present. It's just a stocking filler.
I hate his guts. Get him off.
Right. Wrap her up, Johnny, will you? Oh, fuck.
Right, yeah, take us out there, Johnny.
Boom!
Subscribe to this podcast for free on the Go Loud app.
What you waiting for? Put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Tell your body you're ten. Walk it hard and long. When you finish that,
The hip knocker.